We're coming towards the end of June. Man, this month has gone quick, and there are some big movements in the Pokemon single card market. From Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet era, we'll be taking a look at some of the biggest climbers and the biggest, well, fallers, if you want to put it that way, that's going on right now in the Pokemon single market. It is really interesting. Things are definitely heating up. Scarlet and Violet is popping off. There's no other way of describing it. It is really, really popping off. So we're going to be taking a look at it today. Let's get into it. So today we're looking at TCG Player at some of these card prices. I'm really excited because things are moving, right? Sword and Shield is going down in price, whereas Scarlet and Violet is going up in price. I know, we've kind of done a bit of a 180 here. Let's get into it. First one on today's list is the Miriam from Scarlet and Violet base. I know, we're talking about Scarlet and Violet base set for once. This card's actually been climbing. Yeah, I know, it's actually been bouncing back. I wouldn't say like insanely expensive, but it has been climbing. $32 for this card. Over the past 3 months, it's gone from 22 up to around that mid-30s mark. That's pretty impressive, right? This set got absolutely hammered. The sealed product has actually been going up with Scarlet and Violet base set booster boxes. It used to be that you can pick up over here in the UK anyway, these booster boxes for like 80, 85 a box. Now, I really struggle to find anywhere less than 100. So this has been going up, which is very impressive. And the single card prices are now starting to show that as well, with the Miriam climbing back up. Like I said, I don't expect the Miriam or cards, a lot of cards in this set anyway, to be insanely high in value. But it's nice to see them slowly, gaining value. Like over the past year, this Miriam still is not back up to where it once was a year ago, which at $50. So it did drop quite a bit to go as low as 23, so it dropped 50% overall, but it is on the uptick, and hopefully it can get back up there to 50 because it is a nice card. It is a nice card. We're going to be continuing the climbing train. We have the Fish from Paldea Evolved, $151. This is crazy. Like, I did a top 10 most expensive cards from Scarlet Violet era literally a week ago, and this card was not this expensive. It has been climbing. It's more than doubled in value over the past 3 months. This could be one of, if not the biggest card from the Scarlet and Violet era. It's going to be interesting to see how things go. I've been talking about potential reprints of Paldea Evolved. That will cause the cost of the card to go down a bit, but I don't think it'll go down by much even if there is a reprint. This card is doing very well. I mean, over the past year, it went from $40 to $151. It's nearly 4 times its value in a year. That is ridiculously impressive. Right, speaking of one that's falling, we have the big boy Gutina from Lost Origin. This is still a really expensive card. It's still $400, but it has been falling, and we've actually started to see booster boxes falling, but we'll cover booster boxes in a video next week. But right now, the big top cards from the Sword and Shield era, most of the top ones, I'm not going to cover all of them today, but most of the big arts are starting to cool off. They're starting to fall in price and in value, which was to be expected. I did a video maybe about a month ago saying that, look guys, if you buy these cards at these insane high prices, you may be stung because they will start to fall. It's not sustainable. They shouldn't be growing at this rate right now. And we're starting to see that with the Giratina cooling off a bit. Over the past 3 months, this card went from $281 to basically $500, right? $481. So it went up $200 in value in the space of like 2 months, which is just insane, right? And then from that point, it is dropped by another $100. So it went up 100% in value and is now dropped and lost 50% from that, going up to its highest. So over the past year, this is still it's still up there, of course, but that is still a steep drop in such a short period of time. We're looking at nearly $100 in a month, so you gotta be careful. Keep an eye on this Giratina. I think it could continue to fall, maybe down to 350, maybe even more. Who knows? Right, we're having a big climber, Paradox Rift. This is the Steelix. This is a cool card. I talk about cards being beautiful and amazing, and this is just a cool looking card. This Steelix from Paradox Rift, just a normal illustration rare, fetching $25 right now. This is it is a cool card, but it's jumped up. Look, you can see over the past 3 months, it's gone from $10 to $25. I don't know if this is a playable card. I don't know if that's the reason why this has gone up. But regardless, the artwork is awesome and I really like it, and it's cool to see that in Paradox Rift. We started to see a lot of illustration rares start to gain value. Groudon, Tyranitar, of course, the Magikarp. And we're seeing things like the Steelix as well, which is kind of cool. I'm here for it. And Paradox Rift right now is kind of in a good place because a lot of the cards are holding value, or in this case going up in value, but the booster boxes are still relatively cheap. I mean, I know you can pick them up here in the UK for around about £100 a box, which actually isn't that bad. The pull rates are a little bit tougher. It was the first set in Scarlet and Violet era that started bringing in the tougher pull rates. So it was like Paradox Rift and then Temporal and then Twilight Masquerade. So it was getting more and more difficult as we're going along. So that might be one of the reasons why a lot of these cards are now going up in value, because there's a lot less of them being pulled. Who knows? Speaking of climbers, there is one climber, this one in particular, the Espeon OR VMAX from Fusion Strike, has been doing incredibly well. This one kind of took me by surprise. It really has. Compared to all the other big OARts in the Sword and Shield falling in price, the Espeon was like, hold my beer, I'm going to do the climbing. Over the past 3 months, this card has gone from $138 to a high of nearly $350, and it's started to fall. But we can't deny how well it's done over the past 3 months. We go back over the past year and look at this card. It has been around that 120 to 130 for the longest time, and it's just shot over the last 3 months. Incredible, absolutely incredible. With the fall of the price of the Gutina from Fusion Strike and the growth that Espeon has, the Espeon could potentially overtake the Gengar. It's only maybe $20-30 behind the Gengar, so the Gengar's dropped about $80 over the past few weeks, month or so, whereas this Espeon has been climbing, and the gap between the two of them has closed very, very close. So it's very interesting to see where these will lie towards the end of the year and going into 2025. I've never pulled this card before, or the Gengar, so it is a really tough card to get, but it is doing very, very well. We have to do an update on the Umbreon. I know it's Evolving Skies, it's Sword and Shield, kind of like beating this to death, right? But the Umbreon has been falling, just so you guys may know or may not know. This is now $868. I think the main reason why this has fallen in value, and I think it will continue to fall in value, and you start to see this with a lot of the Sword and Shield arts, is people, you know, these have reached these crazy prices. People have these cards and they're just selling them. They're not looking to hold on to them for any longer. They're like, you know what, this card reached $1,000. I maybe have pulled this card way back when, or I purchased this card when it was only 200 or whatever it is. I'm going to sell it and make a huge profit and just walk away from it. And that's basically what people have been doing. So a lot of them have been hitting the market, and a lot of them have been, you know, selling for a lot less than what they were a few months ago. Because look, you can see over the past year, this card, you know, at its low was around 500, but it's mainly here, right? Over the past few weeks or past month, it was nearly in pushing that $1,000 mark, and then it has seen a steady, I say steady, I mean $100 or nearly $150 decline in a few months, or not even a few months, 1 month, a few weeks, is pretty steep. Even though compared to the climb, that is still a steep drop. We can't deny that. So this is obviously a beautiful card and everybody wants it, but it has been falling. I'm not too sure about the graded price or the PSA 10 price, but definitely the raw price of the Umbreon has dropped by $100 to $150 over the past 3 to 4 weeks, which is quite a bit. Next up, we got another illustration rare, and is the Gastle from Temporal Forces. This one has been going crazy. It's going to be like a weird yo-yo effect. Look at this. I mean, it's $33 right now, but look at that. I mean, it was quite high and it dropped to about $16, $17, went up to 20, dropped a little bit, and then bang, up to $35. This card is doing reasonably well. Temporal Forces, a lot of the cards are pushing that value up because the pull rates are super difficult. And, you know, I think Temporal Forces, in my opinion, is going to be a good contender for one of the best sets in the Scarlet and Violet era. I genuinely do think so, but we'll have to wait and see. Of course. But yeah, so this card actually shot right up to $30, then dropped by about 50% in value, and then more than doubled in value on the uptick over the past 2 months. So beautiful, stunning card. I know a lot of people like this one, and I do too. But yeah, it has been going up in value, which is pretty good for an illustration rare. You could be seeing this one go alongside the likes of the Tyranitar, or the Groudon, or the Magikarp, just because Gastle, big fan favourite. Of course, you got the Gengar and the Haunter in the artwork as well, which really does help. And then finally today we'll be talking about the Greninja. Recently did like a top 10 video on the most expensive Scarlet and Violet era cards, and I think when I did that video, this card was like $150, $160. Again, that was about a week ago. This card is now nearly reaching $200. $200. Look at this, guys. So over the past month, this went from 110, 118 up to 173. I was like, holy smokes, this is going crazy. And then, yeah, like a week ago, it was around about here somewhere, and it was around that 140, 150 mark. And now look here, it's nearly pushing $200. This is the most expensive card in the Scarlet and Violet era so far. Twilight Masquerade pull rates are absolutely harsh and terrible, so a lot of the cards will hold value, similar to Temporal, similar to Paradox. But this card is a big chase card. Like I said before, I think this will be this era's version of the Blaziken from Chilling Reign, where that card shot up massively in value as well. But I think time will tell with the Greninja, but it is such a gorgeous looking card, and it's fetching a massive price tag. So you have it, guys. Those are just some market climbers that are happening right now. Obviously I can't cover everything, but those are just a few cards that that kind of caught my eye. Yeah, so I thought this was quite interesting that a lot of these cards were going up and some were going down, but yeah, pretty much Scarlet and Violet is going up pretty much across the board, which is quite interesting. And we'll be covering sealed boxes and sealed products soon, in a week next week, because there's a lot of stuff happening regarding sealed, especially in Scarlet and Violet era, and in Sword and Shield actually. That's actually kind of caught my attention. That really has caught my attention, and it'd be really interesting to see what will happen in the future. But right now, Scarlet and Violet singles are doing incredibly well, especially in these sets where they have tougher pull rates. And on top of that, we're starting to see some of the big top alt arts from the Sword and Shield era start cooling off with that Giratina. Obviously got the climb of the Espeon, but the Umbreon has fallen as well. Gengar's fallen, Lugia's fallen, Charizard's fallen, Blaziken has fallen as well. So we're starting to see some of the big top cards cooling off. I think that's because people are just selling them, people are just cashing in on their gains. And yeah, I mean, it's bound to happen, and I expect it to continue to fall as more and more people sell. But yeah, Scarlet and Violet right now doing incredibly well. If you made this fun to the video and you've enjoyed it, make sure to smash the like button and make sure to subscribe for more Pokemon content, and let me know your thoughts down in the comments, because it is really interesting to see what has been going on in both eras, you know. And I think a lot of people you know, hit and miss with the Scarlet and Violet era, but we cannot deny how good the Scarlet and Violet era is doing right now. It really is doing well, especially when it comes to these top big chase cards. But if you want to continue watching more Pokemon content, then make sure to click the video on the screen. And that is it from me, guys, in today's video. Thank you so much for watching. As always, you guys are legends, and I will see you in the next one.